Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tailored Acres. I'm Taylor, and I am a home gardener in Wisconsin, Zone 4B. And today I'm going to go through my April indoor seed starting plan with you. I thought I'd share this view of outside currently. We're in the middle of a snowstorm, and we're supposed to get 2 to 3 inches of snow. So, happy spring! Before we start going through each seed per week, I wanted to point you guys to 2 additional videos that I have done recently, and that is my seed starting setup and also general indoor seed starting guidance. The first thing, as always, that you want to do is verify when your last frost date is. And you can do that at the Farmer's Almanac, and it's by zip code. So my last frost date is May 15th. So if yours is a little different than mine, you'll just have to slide your dates around. And one thing I always want to point out is that just because it's your last frost date doesn't mean that you're not going to have frost after that date. Typically here in central Wisconsin, we're still seeing frost into the first part of June. So if there are seedlings that are very sensitive to that, you are going to not want to plant those out unless you can protect them until well after the last chance for that, which is usually like 2 weeks after our last frost date. And one last note before we get started is that I want you to make sure that you're hardening your seedlings off. And that just means adjusting them a few hours at a time outdoors. So that's both for sun, wind, and temperatures. So let's get started with our first round of our last month of seed starting inside. So these are for week 6 that I'm going to be starting these, which is about April 7th for me. So first we have status. And this is some of my absolute favorite flowers. They are excellent fresh cut flowers and excellent dried flowers. They maintain their color and everything. They're one of my favorite flowers to grow, and they don't care too much about frost, so they can go out a little bit earlier, and also they bloom all the way through a hard frost. So this is the variety that I started with, and that's the Status Pacific mix, and that was from Baker Creek. And there was a ton of seeds in here. There's still a ton of seeds in here, and I've grown a lot of these now. So that was a good investment. Also, last year, I grew this Forever Silver Status, and that was a gorgeous white. And I absolutely love this. It was my favorite one. It matches everything. So I will be growing a lot more of this again this year. Then this one here, this is a QIS Apricot Status. I did grow this one last year as well, but a lot of them were shorter than the Forever Silver Status, which was a little bit disappointing. So I'm going to give it one more try. The color was really nice, and it matched a lot of things, but I didn't like it as much as the silver. So one last chance to win me over for this year. And then we also have Seeker Blue Status, and this one is just the most gorgeous color. I love it so much. I'm very excited to have some of these. I had one plant from this mix that grew this color, and I was like, oh my god, I need a whole packet of this. So we'll have a bunch of those for this year. I'm also starting my marigold, and I love this Colossus Red Gold bicolor. I just don't really love marigold, but for some reason this one just, it speaks to me. And it grows in like a mounding habit, and it's just totally covered with flowers. Now, I will warn you that either the bunnies or the deer absolutely loved this last year, and they kept it like mowed down the whole year, so we barely got any flowers off of them, which was really disappointing. So I'm probably going to stick a few of these in my garden just because I love to see them, but in the fenced-in area. And then the last item that we have, and obviously these are all cut flowers we're doing here first. So these ones are straw flowers, and these are, again, a really good dried flower, and they maintain their color. So what I learned last year is that you want to harvest them when they are barely opened. Like you don't want to see the center. So for example, like all of the ones in this picture are way too late. They're going to fall apart if you're trying to dry them. So you need to pick them before that. And a lot of them too, I just plucked off the head because I put them into ornaments for dried flowers. So those were really fun to grow last year. And I've had this tall double mix from Baker's Creek for a few years. And they've been okay. Obviously, it's a mix, so you get whatever colors come out there. And then last year, I grew this silvery rose, which was gorgeous. And that's from Johnny's. And then this apricot straw flower, which was from M.I. Gardner. And those were really pretty as well. And then this year, I also have this king size orange because it just looked like a gorgeous mix of colors of yellows and oranges. So those will be fun to have for this year. And then next we have, oh boy, we're going to lose them here. Okay, so week 5 cut flowers. We have dahlias that I seed saved. And I am actually going to start these in the plastic bag method where you put a paper towel in them because I've seen people have a lot better germination with those, and then you can see which ones germinate before you're potting them up. So those are my seed saved ones, which I'm really excited about. I hope that I can get them to germinate because it'll be so fun. And dahlias don't grow true to seed, so there'll be a totally unique flower from each one of those seeds, which is very exciting for me. And then we also have the double extreme dahlia, and these were from Swallowtail Gardens. So I'm very excited to grow those this year. That's a new one. Whoops. And then we got the Crane Red hybrid cut flower kale from Johnny's. And these I'm going to be growing for fall in my porch pots. There we go. So those are really fun. I did do this a couple years ago, and it just like didn't seem like they did anything all summer. And then all of a sudden they got gorgeous once the temperatures dropped. So then that's kind of when they changed color, which I didn't know when I was growing them then. So I was totally not impressed until the very end. So I'm going to grow some more of those this year. This Frosted Explosion grass. So this is a filler for cut flowers, and it's really beautiful. It adds that like sparkle quality. It kind of looks like a weed, but I kind of love it anyway. And then this one is new to me. This is, I'm not sure how to say this one. It's like Talinum. I don't know. I'm terrible at figuring out what these names are unless I've heard it before. So those will be new for me this year, and that's also more of a cut flower foliage. And then also new to me this year is stock. And I haven't grown stock in the past because it is usually one, I'm trying to think what I want to say here. It's like a one flower stock and you cut it and that's it. And that's not like a good use of space for me because I have such a small growing area. But these Chanter variety, they are supposed to be a branching variety. So I'm going to give these 3 a try. And of course, I couldn't pick which one I wanted to grow here. So I got all 3 of them. And all these colors are gorgeous. So we'll see how those branch for me and how they do. So these are a cool flower. They like, they like to grow in cooler weather. So they may fizzle out once it gets warmer. All right, the last thing for cut flowers then, which is like a lot of packets here, so I'm not going to go through each one, but is zinnias. And I like to start these indoors here in Wisconsin because our grow season is so short. Yes, you can direct sow them, but it is going to delay your bloom time probably by a few weeks. So I like to get as much time ahead of as much time ahead as I can to get earlier blooms. So I have all kinds of zinnias here, pretty much every color under the rainbow we've got for this year. One to point out is this one I found. Oh, where'd it go? Just from Home Depot, and I thought that was so gorgeous with that lime center. So I'm very excited about that one this year. And my other one here, favorite here, is Queen Lime Orange. It's just so gorgeous. and it matches a lot of different things. I just love that one. So, and then there's even more over here. So the Bennery's Giant is a very popular one, and then also the Queen Lime or the Queenie series is another one. So I do also have seed save zinnias, which I will be starting as well. And zinnias are not true to seed either. So you get like some crazy mix. So that's really fun to me as well. All right, so that's all of our cut flowers. Now we're on to vegetables. So I have basil here, and on the packet it says start 8 to 12 weeks before last frost, but I don't want like gigantic plants to transplant, so I am going to try to make this more into or have smaller transplants out into the garden. And then also a Swiss chard, and someone had recommended that I start this in pots in here and then just put it outside. But I think what I'm going to try this year, which I probably should just try one of those as well, or of that method, I'm going to start these in the soil box just to have a little bit of a head start and then transplant those out. So also cucumbers, and this is another one that you can direct sow, but I like that little bit of a head start. And these are also ones that like it to be warmer. So I wait until we're well into June and know that we're going to have nice warm temperatures for them to grow on. So I have the Space Master 80, which I have never grown before, but it's supposed to be more of like a bush variety cucumber, which is really appealing because cucumbers just are crazy. And then this is my previous favorite is this National Pickling Cucumber, because they are delicious for pickling, but they're also really good for fresh eating if you pick them when they're a little bit smaller, like, or not like fully grown, but a little bit in between. They're still delicious. All right, so I don't think I said this, but the Swiss chard and the basil are going to be week 5. The pickling cucumbers are going to be week 4, and then 2 weeks before the last frost, which is the last week of April. For us here, I like to start my squash. So that is the zucchini. I'm going to grow this Black Beauty variety this year. Candy roaster squash. It's just an example of one of the squash. This is my favorite squash to grow. These things like are as big as a baby, and I have a picture of one of these next to my baby, and the squash was larger than my baby. So it's a really good use of your space for how much you get, and the meat on these is really, really tasty. So highly recommend growing the candy roaster squash. They do take quite a while to grow, though. I don't think this probably says how long, but give it as much time as you can. And then the pumpkin that I liked the most last year was this Winter Luxury Pie Pumpkin. They were the most beautiful pumpkins. You probably can't see it on here, but it had like a silver like webbing on the outside. Gorgeous. And then also the flavor was really, really good. And they did grow quite a bit bigger than the pie pumpkins that I grew last year, which is also really nice, right? Because bigger fruit is better. So those are ones I just start them inside so that they basically, I'm trying to get them to germinate and like set nicer roots, and then they get put out into the garden, once it's going to be warm out. But I like doing that better because you do get that little bit of a head start. And for us here, that's important. And also then you get, like how much germination you're going to get. You don't have to thin. So in theory, you're going to use less seeds and be bending down like one less time, which is great. All right. So we made it to the last month of indoor seed starting, which is like crazy because obviously it's snowing outside right now and it just seems so far away for spring still. But we've got lots started here. My shelving unit I'm looking at right now, it's really full. Maybe I'll give you a quick glimpse of that. Here's everything I've got going right now, which is quite a bit. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out either in the comments here or on social media. and I'll try to get back to you. It's been a pleasure to share all of these with you. I love indoor seed starting. You know, it gives us hope for spring. So, and it keeps me well organized too to be sharing all of this with you. So thanks for following along, and pretty soon we'll be out in the garden. All right, take care.